Captain Olivia Rayner stood at the edge of the Phoenix, gazing out at the planet Zyrex below. She was an explorer, a diplomat, and above all, a representative of Earth. After years of effort, humanity had spread to many distant stars, forging alliances, establishing colonies, and earning the respect of various species across the galaxy. But Zyrex was different. This planet had a history of isolation, and its people were both advanced and proud. The challenge of forging an alliance with them was one Olivia couldn't ignore. Her mission was straightforward: establish good relations with the Zyrexians and offer the knowledge and resources Earth had to share. However, Olivia was about to learn that things were never as simple as they appeared. As the Phoenix touched down on the lush green fields of Zyrex, the crew was met by a group of Zyrexian leaders. Their faces were an intricate mix of alien features, thin, angular faces with bright, almost glowing eyes that seemed to pierce through to your very soul. Among them was Asta Vornak, a young woman who would soon become the key figure in Olivia's mission. Asta was unlike anyone Olivia had met before. She was confident and direct, but there was something in her eyes that revealed a sense of sadness, of responsibility she was burdened with. The Vornak family was one of the most powerful families on Zyrex, and Asta had a role to play in shaping the future of her people. The delegation gathered in a large hall where the Vornaks had prepared a feast in honor of their human visitors. The room buzzed with conversation, and the smell of alien dishes filled the air. Olivia couldn't help but feel a bit out of place. She had traveled across the stars, but sitting at the table with these beings, surrounded by their strange customs, made her feel like an outsider. As the evening went on, Olivia found herself seated next to Asta, who was as lively as she was mysterious. Asta spoke proudly of her people's history, their culture, and their advanced technology. Yet as the conversation turned to more personal matters, Olivia noticed a shift in Asta's tone. "I've been thinking a lot," Asta said, her eyes narrowing slightly. "You've come here to form an alliance, but I'm going to ask something of you." Olivia raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" Asta glanced around the room, ensuring no one was listening, before speaking in a quieter voice. "I need you to marry my sister." Olivia blinked in surprise. She had been expecting many things: cultural exchanges, trade agreements, maybe even some political discussions, but not this. "Excuse me?" Olivia asked, confused. Asta didn't seem surprised by Olivia's reaction. Instead, she leaned forward slightly, her expression more serious than before. "My sister Zira, she's blind, and she's been rejected by every suitor because of it. No one can see beyond her blindness. She doesn't care about looks, but they do. It's why she's always been left alone." Olivia frowned, trying to process what Asta was saying. "You want me to marry your blind sister?" Asta nodded. "Yes, but not just for any reason. You see, on Zyrex we value physical beauty above all else. Our society is built on appearances. But Zira, she doesn't care about that. She can sense people's emotions, their inner selves. She doesn't judge based on looks. And I believe that's something that Earth can teach us, so I want you to marry her. She can't see how ugly you are." The words hit Olivia like a sudden wave. How ugly you are. Asta hadn't meant it in an insulting way, but it was still a harsh thing to hear. Olivia wasn't exactly insecure about her appearance, but no one had ever spoken so bluntly to her before. It was clear that Asta didn't care for social niceties. Before Olivia could respond, Asta continued, "Zira's blindness has made her an outcast in our society. She can't participate in the beauty contests. She doesn't fit the mold that everyone here expects. But she's more than just her blindness. She's gifted in ways that no one else here understands. She can feel the true essence of a person. I believe she can sense your humanity in ways no one else can." Olivia was taken aback. She had heard of beings with special abilities, but this was something entirely different. She had heard of people with enhanced senses, but the idea that Zira could feel emotions, understand people's true nature without ever seeing them, was fascinating. "Why me?" Olivia asked. "Why not one of your own people?" Asta's expression softened slightly. "Because I believe you humans are different. You've survived against all odds. You're resilient. You see beyond appearance. You're not bound by the same constraints that others are." Olivia didn't know how to respond. Asta was asking her to marry someone she had never met, someone she knew almost nothing about. And yet there was something about Zira's story that stirred something deep within her. Olivia had always believed in the strength of humanity, She had seen it time and time again, how humans, despite their flaws, managed to find hope, to fight against impossible odds. "I don't know if I can accept this," Olivia said slowly. "I don't know your sister. I don't know if I could ask to cut her off. You don't have to love her right away. This isn't about love, it's about showing the people of Zyrex what truly matters. Zira needs someone who will accept her for who she is, someone who will not judge her based on her blindness or her appearance. I believe you're the one who can do that." The conversation shifted back to the more formal dinner, but Olivia couldn't stop thinking about what Asta had said. She had come here to establish an alliance, to foster peaceful relations between Earth and the Zyrexians, but now her mission had taken an unexpected turn. She was being asked to do something that felt both incredibly personal and incredibly important. Marrying Zira wasn't just a diplomatic gesture, it was a statement. It was a challenge to everything the Zyrexians believed in, to everything they valued. As the night wore on, Olivia found herself growing more and more curious about Zira. Who was she really? Could she truly see the world differently, without relying on appearances? Olivia was about to embark on a journey that would challenge everything she thought she knew about herself, about humanity, and about the meaning of true connection. The following days were filled with new experiences for Olivia. The more she explored the planet of Zyrex, the more she found herself fascinated by its beauty and its people, but her thoughts constantly returned to Zira, the blind sister of Asta. What would it be like to meet her, to see the world through her eyes if only figuratively? Olivia felt both nervous and curious. She had agreed to marry Zira, not because she had been forced, but because she wanted to understand this unique gift that Zira possessed. Zira's blindness did not make her weaker in Olivia's eyes. In fact, Olivia had a sense that Zira was stronger than most people she had met. The idea of someone who could sense emotions so deeply, who could feel the essence of a person without relying on sight, intrigued her. Olivia wondered what Zira would make of her. It was the morning after her agreement to marry Zira when Olivia was invited to meet the woman herself. Asta led her to a quiet garden outside the Vornak estate, a place where the gentle hum of nature surrounded them. The air was thick with the scent of alien flowers that shimmered with colors Olivia had never seen before. As they approached a small bench under a flowering tree, Olivia saw Zira for the first time. Zira sat with her head tilted slightly to the side, her eyes closed as though she were listening to the world around her. Olivia could feel an aura of calm and warmth emanating from her. Zira's appearance wasn't what Olivia had expected, though she wasn't sure exactly what she had imagined. Her face was soft, her features delicate, and there was a quiet strength in the way she carried herself. Zira was not a typical beauty by Zyrexian standards, but Olivia saw something deeper in her, something beyond skin. Asta smiled gently and introduced them. "Olivia, this is my sister Zira." Zira tilted her head in Olivia's direction, her expression calm and welcoming, but there was a hint of uncertainty in her features. She raised a hand as if reaching out, and Olivia instinctively stepped forward. There was a pause before Zira spoke in a soft voice. "You are the human who will marry me, aren't you?" Olivia's heart skipped a beat at Zira's words. It was strange to hear them spoken so directly, but there was no judgment in Zira's voice, only curiosity and an openness that seemed to reach out to Olivia in a way she couldn't quite explain. "I agreed to marry you," Olivia said slowly, "but I need to understand more about you, Zira. I need to know who you are. I want to understand what makes you, you." Zira's lips curved into a small smile and she nodded. "I understand. You humans often judge others by their appearance. You place value on what you can see. But what if you could feel the world in a different way? What if your heart could show you what your eyes cannot?" Zira stood up slowly, her movements graceful despite her blindness. "Come with me," she said softly, turning and walking into the garden. Olivia followed her, curious. Zira's steps were sure, and Olivia marveled at how the woman moved through the space as if she could see it clearly. It was as though Zira knew every curve and line of the garden by heart. As they walked, Zira spoke. "I do not see with my eyes. I see with my soul. When I meet someone, I feel their emotions, their essence. I do not need to know what they look like because I already know who they are inside." Olivia's mind raced as she tried to process Zira's words. This wasn't just a simple gift, it was an entirely new way of understanding the world. For Zira, sight had never been necessary. She had developed a deep connection with the energy and emotions that surrounded her. It was as though her blindness had opened her up to a different kind of vision, one that most beings couldn't even imagine. As they reached the center of the garden, Zira stopped and turned to Olivia. "You are like many others who have come before you," Zira said, her voice soft yet clear. "You have come to offer something, but I wonder if you can truly give what is needed. Will you accept me for who I am? Not for how I look, not for how others see me, but for what is inside." Olivia stood quietly for a moment, thinking about Zira's words. In a way, this was the challenge she had been asked to take on. Asta had not just asked her to marry her sister for political gain or as a simple favor. She had asked Olivia to challenge the very way Xerexian society viewed beauty, and in doing so, Olivia realized she was also challenging her own beliefs. "I will accept you for who you are," Olivia said firmly. "And I'll try to understand you, Zira. I may not see the world the way you do, but I'll try my best to understand your gift. To see with my heart," Zira smiled, her eyes still closed. "That is all I ask." The days that followed were filled with trials, not just the physical challenges that Olivia had expected, but emotional ones as well. The Vornak family had arranged a series of tests, traditional rites that any suitor to Zira had to complete. They were meant to prove the worthiness of the suitor, not in strength or wealth, but in character and compassion. The first trial was a test of survival in the dangerous forest that surrounded the capital. Olivia was given a small group of Xerexian guides who would help her navigate the terrain, but the journey was up to her. The task was to retrieve a rare crystal that only grew in the deepest parts of the forest. The crystal was not valuable by material standards, but its power was symbolic. It was said to represent the strength of heart and mind. Olivia set out with determination. The forest was full of alien creatures and strange plants, and every step was a challenge. There were moments of doubt when she stumbled or when the harsh landscape threatened to overwhelm her. But with each obstacle, Olivia reminded herself of the promise she had made to Zira, to understand her, to accept her for who she was, and to prove that humanity was capable of seeing beyond what was visible. It took days for Olivia to find the crystal, and when she finally did, she was exhausted but proud. She knew the journey had tested her resolve, but it had also taught her something important. Strength wasn't just about physical endurance. It was about the will to keep going, to push through when everything seemed impossible. Returning to the Vornak estate with the crystal, Olivia presented it to Zira. She had completed the trial, but more importantly, she had come to understand something deeper about herself. She had learned that true strength didn't lie in what others saw, or what was visible. It was about the heart, the part of her that was open to understanding, to compassion, and to love. Zira accepted the crystal with a quiet smile, sensing Olivia's growth. "You have passed the first trial," Zira said softly. "But this journey has only just begun. What truly matters is not how far you've traveled, but how far you're willing to go for what you believe in." Olivia knew in that moment that this was more than just a mission. It was a new beginning, and she was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead.